Well, Nigeria's main opposition, the People's Democratic Party, over the weekend held its presidential primary election and a candidate emerged. Former Vice President and the party's candidate in the 2019 elections, Atiku Abubakar, will once again be flying the flag of the PDP. His emergence came with its dramatic twists and turns as Nigerians react and look forward to the 2023 elections and what's in the kitchen. The PDP has also chosen some of its candidates across states in the country, and in some others, there are factional divisions. Now, the game to 2023 is in full swing, and these are the conversations that clarify the details. Welcome to VSA. I'm Sulaiman. Nigeria's vice president for 8 years, Atiku Abubakar, will be vying for the presidency for the 5th time since 1999. He won the PDP's presidential ticket in 2019 and was on the ballot for the party as he lost to incumbent Muhammad Buhari. Atiku faced Aminu Tambuwal and Bukola Saraki in 2019 and emerged as the party's flag bearer. In Saturday's primary election, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike came behind Atiku, polling 237 votes at the election. Saraki polled 70 votes and came third. The major talking point from that election was Tambuwal's decision to withdraw from the race on election day and declare his support for Atiku. In Ogun State, in southwest Nigeria, where the PDP governorship primary election was held last week, there's confusion as two factions of the party have produced governorship candidates. One of our guests today, Segun Sowunmi, is a governorship candidate of the PDP in Ogun State. Good to see you. And by the way, congratulations, Segun Sowunmi. Thanks for joining us on VSA.
Hello, Swai. It's nice to see you. You see, I got a grade just like you.
I was going to say, but anyway, congratulations on your emergence as the flag bearer of your party in Ogun State. Before we dig deep into Ogun State, let's first talk about what's happening at the national level. You worked closely with Atiku Abubakar in 2019. Tell us your feeling about his emergence as your party's candidate now.
Well, I'm quite happy. And you will notice that between 2019, after we lost till date, I really haven't left the Atiku narrative. And even when all others were changing their sides, I kept asking myself, did I tell a lie to the Nigerian people while I was doing narrative for him frontally? And I discovered that everything I said about him, to the best of my knowledge, were the truth, the absolute truth, and nothing but the truth. And I had said to everybody that asked, how do I then go and say that that which I said is no longer true? So I stayed with him and we've worked very hard. To God be the glory, he has emerged. I'm happy for him because I think, one, he is ready, he's prepared for the responsibility. But even more importantly, I was eager to see how the PDP would demonstrate that its processes by which it does these things are beautiful to behold. If you recall Port Harcourt in 2018, you will notice that it was a signature of all eyes. The delegate number was a lot more, but it was beautiful to behold. In 2022, the numbers are smaller because of the new rules that only allowed one delegate per local government. And the competition was very steep. Those who were charging and asking to be president themselves are eminently qualified, but I wanted to see whether we will be able to deliver a beautiful spectacle. You know, for me, I'm always looking for what Nigeria can do that the whole world can see and can be saying, oh, okay, they're making steady progress. I do not want a situation where the narrative about our country
Well,
all of them are congratulating themselves. The shrinking.
No, I can hear you. Go ahead then.
And everybody is just generally in some sober mood, but in a very happy mood as well. And you can see that hopefully we are ready for the 2023 general election. And on the face of it, I'm believing that all the work will be done. People will give us a chance. The party will be supported with others. He's a team player, he's a team builder. I know he's a unifier. I know he doesn't really hold on to a grudge. I know he's not a vindictive person. I know he's not looking to do winner takes it all. So I'm very hopeful that everything considered, that is one sure bet for Nigeria.
Everything considered, one sure bet for Nigeria. You know, talking about grudges, we'll come back to your certainty, in terms of victory for your party. We've seen also Atiku Abubakar making some inroads, especially to those who contested the primaries with him. Specifically, he's gone to see the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, and former president of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, also congratulated Atiku Abubakar. In the face of those who still think that your party ditched the zoning agreement, how important is Atiku in this whole calculation as your party moves towards the election next year?
When there is a contemporary important issue in the country, and that issue, whatever the issue may be, in this particular case, zoning, and we give as honest an explanation as we can, and we try to let people understand what's going on here as against the general assumption. One of the frustration is that people never drop it or never really understand what you're saying. For emphasis, zoning, first of all, is not even a constitutional matter, and it's not justiciable by political parties. Second of all, zoning is a convenient arrangement within intra-party. Political parties don't have a universal zoning arrangement, and that is made sure by the fact that over the years, between 1999 to date, whereas the PDP has been going north-south and different areas, the APC has been staying permanently in the north with the Buhari tendency, and it gave them power. Be that as it may, the PDP has done zoning to the Yoruba land in the southwest. We have zoned to the northwest with Yaradua. Unfortunately, we lost him to death. May so rest in peace. Jonathan became the beneficiary of that because of our unique arrangement of balance. From there, Jonathan then ended up having a time of his own, which made us stay in the south a bit longer. And then we came back to the north in 2019 with Atiku. Our arrangement for how we have planned it via the Ekremadu report, we do our zoning for an 8-year period. So once we were in the northeast, technically we're supposed to be there for 8 years. And the reason for that is that if the fellow wins, and we agree that there's always a right of first refusal, there's no point talking about zoning again in that case. In any case, after the 2019 election, the party in its wisdom set up the Bala Mohammed Committee, and the Bala Mohammed Committee went around and said, look, all things considered, maybe for 2023, it's best we left it open. And the party, we talked about it, we lobbied, we dragged, we did all we needed to do, but at the end of the day, in the wisdom of the party, by the time they were going to take the autumn report, they considered that the best thing and the safest thing for Nigeria and for our party, looking at where we were, was to leave it open. People bought forms from almost all the zones. The Southwest had 2 people buying forms. The South-South had a few people buying the form. The Northeast had Atiku on the buying the form. The North Central has Governor Saraki, former Senate President, buying the form. The Northwest even had His Excellency, the chairman of our Governors Forum, His Excellency, I'm going to talk about buying the form. So invariably, the gladiators have acted on that. The Southeast had a few people as well, the former Senate President Pius Ayib, and a few others. So once that happened, it meant that the activities had started to roll along the pattern of may the best man win. We have a fewer number of delegates this time around, one per local government, so almost everybody got under 20 or just a little bit about 20, minus the big areas like Kano and Oko, who traditionally have more local government. So there was enough space. All our aspirants, to their credit, crisscrossed the states, spoke to the delegates, visited them, danced, brought their agenda, talked about it. Everybody went on the frolic of trying to attract the electorate or the delegates in this case.
So let me jump in here. Show me. Apologies, button in. I'm trying to make sense of some of the things you highlighted. Are understandable to some of your party members, but again, there are some who still think that the South's strong desire to produce the president has been dished. Perhaps for those who are still smarting from that, disappointment, how does the PDP hope to market the Atiku candidacy and also bring these same party members who are not excited about, the ditching of the zoning towards the South to come on board?
I understand the feelings. I understand the feelings in the country, and I understand where the equity challenge is. Technically, the country is divided into two halves, the northern half and the southern half. But in the wisdom of our leaders in the country is divided into three equal halves. In the southern part, we have the southeast, the southwest, and the south-south. And in the northern part, we have the north-central, the northeast, and northwest. For the sake of clarity, PDP has been in the southwest with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo on 2 occasions. PDP has been in the south-south first by default because Yar'Adua died, then in the legitimate term through Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the immediate past president of PDP. Now we zoned it to the north, where Atiku was supposed to, where we flew the flag in 2019. I just told you that if there be an equity challenge in the country, as far as PDP is concerned, that equity challenge exists in 3 locations, maybe one more than the other. The southeast, they've never produced president in a democracy. The north central, they have never produced president in a democracy. The northeast, they also have never produced president in a democracy. Now, when the conversation was going, the juggernauts and the leaders will be measuring and watching how things were. Had the southern part of Nigeria gone to the table with a single proposition, which is, we want it in the southeast because we think everybody in the south wants southeast, it would have been different. You cannot do equity when Southwest is buying form, when South-South is buying form, and then you say, by one magic, North Central that has never produced will not buy, and Northeast that has never produced will not buy. Or if you say you throw it open, how do you disdain the Northwest with their numbers? So we threw it open, and we encourage everybody to crisscross and pull in, because no section can win on their own anyway. For you to be able to win a presidential election in the country, you must be able to do the negotiation. You must start early. You must build traction. You must speak around. Sometimes people overestimate their assumed popularity. You may be popular, but you may not be able to win an election. Electability requires that all the zones must be comfortable with that aspiration. And on this occasion, I believe it is the Northeast where His Excellency the Vice President, now presidential candidate of PDP in 2023, comes from, has also never produced precedent. So we're not exactly falling short of the equity. And luckily, the others from the South-South, from the Southwest, and from the Southeast also participated in the primaries. What is important, if you are not going to do by fiat, if you are going to do it by democratic ethos, you are going to have to wait for the votes to be casted and for it to be counted. You can only demand fairness, you can demand transparency, you can demand a process that has integrity, but you can't demand more. The nerves were there on all sides. Nobody could truly say, I've won it. You may think you won it on paper, but you may get there and 30 minutes before an election, something happened. And now PDP has shown to the world that yes, we have not gone to all of the zones we need to go to, but now we have gone to the south, northeast. I am sure we will certainly go to all the other zones. It's only a matter of time. If God spares the unity of Nigeria and spare us as Nigerians, another day will come.
Now,
talking about Buhari's successor now.
Let me jump in here. You know, talking about some people who also thought about their popularity. I think it's quite instructive. You also said something very key here, that no section can win an election on its own. Every section needs the other part, you know, to pull this together. Quickly here, let's bring it to your own. Your zone, your candidacy in Ogun State is being contested by a faction that produced Ladi Adebutu. What's the position of the party on your emergence?
You know, Ogun is particularly unique. Ogun is one of those locations where we test the law. In 2011, it was via the law and the courts that we produced our candidate. In 2015, it was via the same court process we produced our candidate. In 2019, it was the same thing. In 2023, let's hope we can find the middle ground and avoid that. But what you can see happening in Ogun, because of their early embrace of education, their pedigree and all that, and the level of sophistication they have there, it's always clear that if anything doesn't go according to law, people will ask the law to step in and interpret. And I believe that's what's going on here. Myself and my brother, Honorable Ladi Adebutu, are brothers. In the real sense of the word, we are also friends. He has emerged from one part. I have emerged. Luckily, we are members of the same party. We are watching the way our leaders are visiting themselves after a keenly contested primary. I'm sure that it will inspire us to also maybe call ourselves and figure out something. But the truth of the matter is that it is only the courts that can determine how much of the rules and regulation each side has complied with. And I'm sure that by the grace of God, if we pull it all the way to the end, I am the candidate of the PDP.
What's your chances of getting a competitive advantage against the incumbent governor of the state, Dr. Abiodun?
Very good question. That's one of the reasons why I'm digging deep. The governor of the state, the present occupant, comes from Ogun East Senatorial District. It comes from a little town called the Peru in Ogun East, in the Remo section of Ogun East, not even from the main Ijebu. We don't really do too much of ethnic politics there, but you know, the underpinnings are always there. The PDP went to Ijebu with Kuya in 99. They went to Ijebu with Daniel Remo in 2003. They returned Daniel in 2007. They went to Oluri in Ogun West in 2011. They went to Isiaka Agbeiga GNI in 2015, Ogun West. They returned back to Buruji Kashamu in 2019, Ogun East. They have never gone to Ogun Central, where I come from, the Egba stock. And we seem to have the largest number of votes available. Now, if we're to challenge an incumbent that is from Ikperu, my brother, Ladi Adebutu, is also from the same town, almost from the same location. Governor Dr. Abiodun's house and Ladi Adebutu's house are opposite the same road. And we're saying that, look, there's a bit of equity opportunity here. There's also a bit of numbers that you must chase here. And there's also a bit of electability. Now that I'm available, why don't you let us push and struggle and try to take in the numbers from where we have the numbers? There are a few things that influence how people vote, unfortunately, in Nigeria. People vote sometimes according to their tribal tendencies. People sometimes are persuaded by their religious tendencies. People are persuaded by the person they know and they hear, and they have his ideas on issues. And of course, money plays some role in our politics up until now. So if you look at all the boxes, I'll say that an independent, honest arbiter, I would say Segun has to be the one that is the candidate. But I'm not begrudging him of his own opportunity to also contest. And I've said to you very clearly, we're looking at the way our leaders are behaving. We've seen Atiku, His Excellency, go visit Governor Yusuf Wike. We've seen the camaraderie going on there. We have seen him visit Bukola Saraki. We have seen him visit Pius Aim. We have seen him visit all of these others. So maybe we will be inspired by that. And on the basis of that, maybe if our leaders call us as well and tell us that, gentlemen, both of you are brothers, let us look at it this way. Of course, we must be persuaded, because there's no point in struggling for 100% of zero. What must be important is for us to rescue Ogun from the rudderless APC government, and by extension, support our party with good numbers, reduce the acrimony, and let's all go get Nigeria to be back to where it is by slow and steady, meticulous, proper design of policy and its implementation and unity of the country. That's what is here.
Now, let's see if we can close on this, Segun Sowunmi. Let's close on this. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, a ruling party seemed to be, closely watching what the opposition is doing just before primaries. Now that your party has Atiku Abubakar, do you have a sense of what the reading could be from the APC?
Sulaiman, I personally began to be concerned about the popularity of the APC way before the 2019 election. And I wondered why they were struggling so much. But we don't have enough time for me to surface some of the issues. They barely survived 2019 on a lot of strong arm tactics, cancelling of the election date and pushing forward a lot of practices that were not right. They didn't really allow their server to work. They were not ready to do the right type of accreditation. They didn't do the right types of transmission. So it was a flawed election, so to speak. But it was the reason why we know APC is no longer popular. Now they've added 3 more years of misery, where money is getting lost everywhere. The accountant general has just lost about, they're looking for 80 billion. Is that not an humongous amount of money? People were not safe on the road. People were not safe in villages. Now they're not even safe on the train. The airport is now being compromised. People are driving. It's just a mess. So it will be hard for the APC to come to Nigeria and tell Nigerians they deserve to win, because the Nigerians are the ones that are living the consequences of their misgovernance. So our hope, my personal hope, is that Nigerians, there is time for bickering and there is time for everything. Right now, the time that we are on is a time where all Nigerians should join hands with the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria, the party that has the best chance of forming government. So us just go and give a great push so that we can audit the Buhari and APC administration. We can look at what they've done. We can repair the policies. We can improve things, and we can get Nigeria to be happy and prosperous again. We can work on national unity. Atiku promised, he kept saying, I vow. So for a man to use the word I vow, it means that he's saying those things with a lot of conviction that he will unite the country. He will try to make sure that, obviously, we'll talk about the restructuring of the nation. Of course, he's going to be looking at creating a new economic model that can get us out of this mess we found ourselves. He said, I'm going to be very determined and very deliberately to remove the fight insecurity. I believe that now that he has emerged, one thing we can say about him is that he can form government. He's not likely to be the kind of guy that needs about 6 months to form government. One thing we can say is that it will give every part of Nigeria a sense of belonging. Of course, there will be some frayed nerves, but we need to calm those nerves, and we need to let everybody understand that what is important right now is for us to put the interest of Nigeria first above every other interest.
Certainly, I think it's a fine place for us to leave it. Segun Sowunmi, apologies for butting in. It's a fine place for us to leave it, and we do hope that we'll have you back again on the square. Segun Sowunmi is the PDP governorship candidate in Ogun State, southwest of Nigeria, and is speaking to us on the 2023 election in the country. Still to come, Kasim Afegba joins me to talk more on the outcome of the PDP primaries. Stay with us.